Hey guys, welcome to the video, welcome to the garage. This is going to be an Ecotec update. Unfortunately, I don't have anything major going on in this video, but there have been a lot of smaller things in the works, and I want to keep you guys up to speed with those so that if you're watching all of these Ecotec swap series, you get a good understanding of what's involved with this swap. So one of the things that I've been working on ever since really the beginning of this is I've been talking to a couple of different, I've been doing a lot of internet searches, talking to a couple of different companies, and I did end up talking to AlphaFab, and I did send my computer off to them to get it reprogrammed. So there will be a video coming up here when I get that back, and I'll do the wiring on that and do the installation of that. But I just recently sent them a bunch of information that they needed, and I did ship my ECM out to them for some reprogramming. Another thing I've been doing some research on are radiators, and I did end up purchasing a radiator. This is it. It just showed up yesterday. I've uncrated it, and I just set it in the back here just because with things like this, typically, you know, I'm not 100% sure where or how I'm going to mount this and where I'm going to run the coolant lines yet. So typically on something like that, I'll get the piece, I'll set it in there, and as I'm working on other things, I'll just keep moving it around and kind of thinking of different things until I come up with a way that I want to do it. But I'll have that coming up here pretty soon, where I'll have a video on installing the radiator and how I run the radiator hoses and all that stuff. Another thing I've been working on is the let's call it the water neck. There are some aftermarket ones that you can purchase, but on this installation or this swap, I'm trying to keep my costs down to a minimum. So I want to use the factory one, and this the factory one brings the water neck out the back of the block, and that's not inconvenient for me. I can incorporate that into how I run the hoses to my radiator, so it's really no big deal. I've cleaned it up. I cleaned up this is the water temperature sensor, so I cleaned that up, I reinstalled that. One thing that I did find out, which was really cool, is from the factory, where these plugs are, they've got these steel fittings that come up about 4 or 5 inches, and that's what the heater core hoses go onto. I don't want to use the heater core. I was thinking of maybe just welding that up solid. I really didn't want to do that because I don't like to weld on cast if I can avoid it at all possible. Welding onto cast really stresses the cast out. I don't want to do anything to this that could cause a hairline crack further on down the road on the trail or something. But what I discovered is if I cut those steel tubes off flush and then just break them in with a little chisel, just kind of collapse them in on themselves because they're like a press fit in the aluminum, break them in, then you can pull them out. Then when you've got just the raw hole in the cast aluminum, a 1/2 inch tap, this is for 1/2 inch NPT, National Pipe Thread. When you bust that out, a 1/2 inch thread, it's the perfect diameter for there. You can thread it right in, it's really easy. So then once you do that, you've now got 1/2 inch NPT threads in there. So what I did is I just put some plugs in there for now because I don't want to use a heater box. But this gives me the option, if later on I want to, let's say, put a heater box in there, I can thread in some barbed fittings and I can add a heater box. Or if I find out that I want to bypass the heat across here, I can add fittings and do that. It's just, I was really surprised at how easily I could thread that, and it gives me some options. What I've done for now is I've just threaded it and I've put these plugs in there. Another thing that has slowed me down a little bit is winter. It's incredibly cold right now. You know, we've had some single-digit weather. That's just, it's difficult for me to get out here when it's that cold. I can still do it, but it does slow me down. I want to get a lot of this reassembled because once I get all this stuff put on, immediately after I edit and post this video, I'm going to start working on my motor mounts. So I need to have everything in place when I do that, so that I make sure that I don't obstruct anything. I've also been figuring out how I'm going to do my motor mounts, and I had to order a couple parts for those, and those have shown up. So like I said, after I finish this, I'm going to start working on the motor mounts. This morning I had my neighbor come over, and he helped me carry the air-cooled motor down into the basement. This is where I'm going to store it. What I'll do is I'll take all the parts, put it back on here, kind of reassemble it, and then I'll wrap it all up nice so that it's protected from any dirt, insects, anything, and just kind of leave it here, because I do expect to tinker with this later on. So that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you a little update, show you some of the stuff that has been going on with the Ecotec. It's not a lot, but just want to show you all the stuff that goes into it, whether it be big or small. So thanks for watching the video. I hope it's helping you guys possibly with whatever you're working on, getting out into the basement, the shop, whatever. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care.